Summer's officially here, and the bikini sale at shackshop.us is happening right now. Get hot styles, bold prints, and perfect fits, all on sale for a limited time. Whether you're beach-bound or poolside, we've got the bikini that makes you feel confident, cute, and totally summer-ready. So don't wait. Head to shackshop.us and shop the sale before it ends. That's shackshop.us, your new favorite bikini spot.
Federal transportation officials say a multi-state enforcement surge temporarily sidelined hundreds of commercial drivers after inspectors cited safety violations, including failures to meet federally required English language standards and questions about lawful presence in the United States. According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA, and state law enforcement partners carried out Operation Safe Drive between January 13th and January 15th, conducting intensive inspections along major freight corridors in 26 states and Washington, D.C. Scope of the enforcement effort. FMCSA officials report that inspectors completed more than 8,000 roadside and way station inspections during the three-day operation. As a result, 704 drivers were placed out of service. Nearly 2,000 drivers and vehicles were deemed unqualified to continue operating at the time of inspection. Approximately 500 drivers were cited for failing to demonstrate sufficient English proficiency. 1,231 vehicles were ordered off the road due to mechanical or safety deficiencies. 56 individuals were arrested for offenses including impaired driving and alleged immigration violations. Officials emphasized that an out-of-service order is an administrative safety action, not a criminal conviction. English proficiency acquirements. Federal law requires commercial motor vehicle operators engaged in interstate commerce to read and speak English well enough to communicate with law enforcement officers, understand traffic signs and signals, respond to official inquiries, complete required reports and records. These standards are established under 49 CFR Section 391.11.2 and enforced by FMCSA inspectors during roadside examinations. Failure to meet the requirement can result in immediate removal from service until compliance is demonstrated. DOT and FMCSA authority. FMCSA derives its enforcement authority from the Motor Carrier Safety Act, which empowers federal and state partners to conduct inspections, issue citations, and order drivers or vehicles out of service when safety standards are not met. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy told Fox News Digital that the operation was designed to improve roadway safety rather than target any single category of driver. This enforcement shows what happens when federal and state partners focus on removing unqualified drivers and unsafe vehicles from the road, Duffy said, adding that the administration supports a coordinated safety strategy aimed at reducing crashes and fatalities. FMCSA Administrator Derek Barrs echoed that message, stating that driver qualifications, impairment, and compliance with safety rules remain the agency's primary focus. Recent high-profile crashes raise scrutiny. The enforcement push follows several fatal and high-profile crashes that have intensified scrutiny of commercial driver licensing and oversight practices. In Indiana, authorities said a Kyrgyz national was involved in a deadly collision after failing to slow for stopped traffic, crossing a median and striking oncoming vehicles. Federal officials later confirmed the driver had entered the U.S. in 2023 and possessed a state-issued commercial driver's license. In Oklahoma, a separate way station stop resulted in the arrest of a driver later identified as an Indian national, whose CDL reportedly listed incomplete identifying information. State officials transferred the case to federal immigration authorities under Oklahoma's 287G agreement with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Other cases cited by officials involve drivers licensed in California, New York, and Pennsylvania, prompting disputes between state governments and federal agencies over data verification, work authorization, and responsibility for licensing issuance. State and federal disputes over licensing. Pennsylvania officials have disputed claims that the state knowingly licenses undocumented immigrants, stating that all non-citizens must verify lawful presence through the federal SAVE database before receiving a driver's license. Federal officials counter that prior work authorizations issued at the federal level may allow individuals to pass initial checks, even if their immigration status later becomes disputed or revoked. No state named in the enforcement action has been formally accused of intentionally violating federal law. Public safety emphasis. Transportation officials stressed that Operation Safe Drive focused on distracted, reckless, impaired, and improperly credentialed drivers, regardless of nationality. When drivers ignore safety rules or operate vehicles they are not qualified to drive, the risk extends to everyone on the road, Barr said. The FMCSA noted that enforcement operations like Safe Drive are expected to continue throughout the year.